That man over there says that women need to be helped into carriages and lifted over ditches and given the best place wherever. Nobody helps me into carriages, nor over the muddy patches, or gives me any best place. And ain't I a woman? Look at me. I have plowed and planted and gathered into barns, and no man could best me ever. Ain't I a woman? I could work as hard and eat as much as a man when I could find it, and take the lash as well. And ain't I a woman? I have borne 13 children and seen most of them sold off to slavery. And when I cried out with my mother's grief, no one but Jesus heard me. And ain't I a woman?
I'm 21 years old, and I've just celebrated my 3rd wedding anniversary with my husband, Robert.
Hello, my name is Gwendolyn Laurie Johnson. I am 21 years old, and I am currently studying journalism at the University of Pennsylvania.
Good day, I am Samantha Gray. I'm 21 years old, and I'm studying to get my diploma in sociology based on women in the contemporary society.
My name is Inati Mkenge. I am 21 years of age. I have just graduated my Bachelor of Arts degree at the University of Fort Hare.
Hi, I am Gianna Lee Simmons. I am 21 years old and I am a freshman at Howard University in Washington, D.C., studying a degree in social work.
We have a son, Matthew, he's 2, and another one on the way.
As you can hear, I'm not from America. I grew up in a small town in England called Rye.
One of 7 children. I'm the second youngest and only one of 2 daughters. After I went to school for a few years, I got married at the age of 15 to my husband, Christopher Gray, who is a principal at the local primary school. And we have 3 beautiful children, 1 son and 2 daughters.
I was born and bred in the small town of King Williamstown, in the township of Kwabisho. I currently stay with my mother, Noma Temba Mkenge, who was a principal at the school that I'm currently working at as a clerk administrator at Kwabisho Primary School.
I remember for the longest time I used to ask my parents for a sibling, and 2 years ago, thank you, Lord, my prayers were answered.
I've always lived here in Sherwood Lake, California, and I know it might sound foolish, but I've always loved how the houses look so similar. Like the same faced brick walls and white trim windows and fences connected us all in that same permanent way.
Now in England, I lived in a small cottage with my 5 younger siblings, as well as my father. I unfortunately lost my mother at a very young age. She died giving birth to my younger sibling. After her death, I had to become the mother figure for my family. I had to take care of my siblings, I had to feed them, I had to clean the house, I had to buy groceries, and on top of it all, I still had to balance my schoolwork.
After getting married, we had children right away, so I couldn't finish school and I couldn't go to college to follow my dreams. But now with the Equal Rights Amendment protests ongoing and the second wave of feminism also growing, I felt that I needed to do something about my education and the way people see me as a woman.
She's married to my father, Ubantu Mtenge, who 3 months ago left because of political crimes that he had committed. I also have an older brother, Ulizo Mtenge, and he is not my father's favorite son, as he is part of the political guerrilla warfare, and he does not live with us at the moment.
But yeah, it used to be different. 11 months ago, my brother Keryn passed away. He was the biggest gem in my life, and it was sudden, but I'm okay. He died a cot death.
I actually grew up 2 blocks down from here. I was an only child. My father was a pastor and my mother was the co-chair of the women's Bible study group, so naturally I spent the better half of my Sundays singing hymns. And although I was an only child, I never really was lonely. The street was bursting with kids. It was the kind of neighborhood where if one kid fell down, 5 mothers would run and pick him up and dust him off. And all in all, I had a really great childhood.
The death of my mother really broke my father. He turned to alcohol for comfort, and it changed him for the worst. He would leave for work very early in the morning, and he'd come home very late at night, just drunk out of his mind. And he needed to take his anger and pain out on anything or anyone. And unfortunately for me, I became his personal punching bag. He would hit me, kick me, punch me, to the point where I couldn't breathe sometimes. And there were many times where I thought I would die.
I just want to broaden my horizons on women of our age and what we face every day. My husband doesn't really approve of this idea, and that's why we don't really see eye to eye at the moment. And it also affects our relationship with our children, especially our marriage. I just want the best for my children.
I am also not my father's favorite child because I am not studying what I want to pursue, which is political sciences. And also, ever since my father was disappointed that his son did not follow his footsteps, he wanted another son, but it was a girl, which is me.
Growing up, I used to take care of Keryn when my mom would be at work, which was 24/7. And at that time, my dad would lose his job maybe 2 to 3 months at a time. So I had to do what I had to do and skip school most of the week, take care of Keryn and help out where I could. And I remember one day my dad came home wasted as hell, and he just started yelling at me for no reason.
Then when I was about 8, the war started. And my father, like everyone else's, I guess, got drafted. So my mom ended up taking over the position at the church and taking Sunday service. I know she'd never really say it out loud, but I think she really, really enjoyed it, despite what was going on around us, of course. Then the war ended, and my father really didn't come back the same. It was as if someone took the air and the joy right out of his lungs. But other than that, things kind of went back to normal. Finished high school at the top of my class and went to college and met my husband, and the rest is history.
This continued for several years. And once my siblings were old enough, I left. I ran away from home, from England, and I came to America to start a new life for myself. I'm not proud of how I got into America because I had to steal money from my father, but after everything he did to me, I saw it as a fair trade. I got accepted into the University of Pennsylvania and I started studying journalism.
Oh, my children and my hard-working husband. I just wish that he could understand that what I'm fighting for is much more than just being a devoted wife. They say that life is all about choices. And I think that I've made the best one so far.
Owing to our financial problems at home, and my father was moving in and out of jobs, my mother couldn't afford to pay for my tertiary fees. So I had made arrangements with an old white man at the library. He's the librarian there, Mr. Van Heerden, and he works every day the day shift, and since I was not allowed in the library, I would go at night to complete my research. And he said that I should repay him. And at that time I told him I do not have money, but as soon as I find a job, I will repay him back. And he said that I should not pay him in money, and that he always wanted to taste a woman of color, and that I'm young and beautiful.
There were a lot of times where I thought I could, tell Mama what was going on, because he would try things. A lot of things on me, but when he was around Mama, it was like he was a totally different person. And if I had told Mama what was going on, things would take a bad turn for me. And I say that because the way he acted towards Mama was just perfect. So I kept quiet, and I think that was a big mistake.
Well, I know it's a touchy subject, but I think men often forget that during the war, women did do the jobs that they used to do. So when it boils down to it, men need to remember that women can do what men do, if need be, of course.
We are more similar than we are different. But why should the fact that I am labeled a female or a woman change the way you treat me? I have a voice that deserves to be heard. You wouldn't be where you are right now if it wasn't for your mother. Because if your mother, who was a female, never gave birth to you, you wouldn't be in the position you're in right now. So, men, hear women and respect women. Because let's face it, without us, the human race will cease to exist.
Women have a different take on life, and they have so much more to bring to the corporate and entertainment industry. We have flair, finesse, brain power, strong voices, and never-ending willpower. I just wish that men could realize that they are at a certain level because of the women who hold them up, who keep them up. Letting females on the same level as men not only help the men improve, but it will put everyone on a different league. I say, let the woman who brings coffee to the office have a chance at the director's table. Let the mom drive the kids to school. Let the woman make some decisions in a marriage. Two is better than one, especially if one can be a female.
One thing I so wish that men could understand is that women are also just as intelligent, perhaps even more, and that we are not only made to have babies and get married and even clean your houses. That men need to understand that we are capable of doing the jobs that are made for men in this society that we live in.
We go through a lot of shit to give life, provide for life, and live through life. And it's all because of them. And I feel like if we as women had just as much of a revengeful and sick mind as they did, they'd understand where that came from.
I forgive myself. I forgive myself for breaking down my walls to welcome the contaminated spirits of the ungodly.
I forgive myself for letting the doors of my temple be opened by the impious, opened for the wicked to enter and tarnish my sanctuary.
For having countless knots tied by the souls I've exchanged. I've lived and died over and over again.
I have dimmed my light to let that of a man stand over me. I have bent. I have been oppressed. I have died.
Awakened. I forgive myself still. I liberate myself still. I exude light from the holes and dents that have been left on and in my temple.
I paint with love over all my wounds that have turned to scars.
I love myself still.
Over and over again.
I forgive myself still.
I forgive myself still.
I forgive myself still.
I forgive myself still.
I forgive myself still.